We can start wherever. We might as well just get it going.
Yeah.
As you know, I don't know how to start the podcast. It'll either be whatever that was or something along the lines of Welcome Late to the Movies. My name is Ben Holt. It's a podcast where my friends and I get to fill in our movie blind spots. Each week we'll pick a film that either I or a guest hadn't seen before and really should have by now. This week, we're going into the future to something like 2455 to be exact, to tackle the next movie in Halloween in June, Part 2, July, a month-long exploration of poorly received, misunderstood, or confusing sequels to horror movies we've done before. Sometimes they're so bad they're good. Sometimes maybe they're just bad. We'll talk about it. This week is Jason X, the 10th Jason film. I'm assuming that's why it's X.
Yeah.
There's a lot to say about that. But before we do, your guest left, right, across your podcast out. We got Cory.
Hey.
We got Noah.
Hey.
You guys seem
I need
really
to think
excited.
of something like clever to say. Like I always just go, hey, and then everybody else goes, hey.
I thought we
That
did.
works.
I thought at one point we had come up with something. Maybe it was like I don't remember what it was though. So
I don't have any like quirky catchphrases.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get at least one person from the first time we did a series back on the same series. So you guys were on the Friday the 13th episode.
That's right. Yeah.
A movie which famously Jason isn't really even in at all. This is the only other Friday the 13th movie I've seen. So it's really funny to have these two be the ones. Where the one where the twist is Jason doesn't even actually exist except for that nightmare sequence at the end. And then this one where 450 years later, some random dude being woken up from sleep is like, wait, Jason Voorhees?
It's Jason V2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The extremely famous Jason Voorhees that for some reason I know.
Everybody knows about him.
Everybody, he's a household name.
I'm even wearing my socks.
I know. I was going to say, I just clocked those Michael Myers
Came
socks.
prepared.
We're doing Halloween 3, the Halloween movie that Michael Myers is famously not in, later this month, I think with Greg and Ray.
Nice.
I didn't have Jason socks, so this is as good
This is
as
the
I can
closest you
get.
get. This is a better guy anyway.
Yeah.
It's a better guy. Unless you had like Jason's mom from the first movie socks, and then it just looks like some white lady.
Oh yeah. No, you would not be able to tell who it is.
No.
Yeah.
Whoever did, I would just instantly give him $20.
Unless it's just that one shot of her decapitated head sort of flying across the beach.
Oh, that's identifiable. Yeah.
But yeah,
I
then
get
it's
that
like,
one.
how do you capture that on just socks?
Yeah. you'd have to
Michael
wear-
Myers, it's very
That's
clear.
also a very niche market.
Yeah, I mean,
You'd have to like
decapitated head
write as
socks,
like the
you're
description of the sock, like Jason's mom's head flying off in blah 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 blah.
Yeah, or just stitch that into the sock so other people know that's what it says, or that's what it shows. Anyway,
We have our next product.
I think we do. You can check, by the time this episode comes out, you can check our TeePublic storefront,
Check the merch.
check the merch and see if it's there.
Yeah.
Before we get into Jason next, have either of you guys watched anything good recently? We've expanded in recent times to be watched anything good, read anything good, experienced anything you want to share.
All of the above.
Okay.
Let's see. I watched 4 seasons of The 100, the show from like 2000 and actually was it 14 maybe? Just like a kind of like sci-fi drama show. Pretty relevant with Jason X as they both partially take place in on a thing in space.
Nice.
Space center.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't watched the 100 at all, but yeah, I'm vaguely aware of it taking place in some kind of space situation.
Yeah, I'm like, how do I say this without giving away the whole show?
Okay, fair enough. I understand why you're being so cagey then.
Yeah. Let's see. I watched that. I watched a whole butt ton of anime.
Nice. Any highlights?
I like the term butt ton, by the way.
Yeah, butt ton. That one was right off the dome.
Ass load is out.
As opposed
Butt
to
ton is in.
out the ass.
2024 is buttload.
Yeah, there's a couple of new shows. One's called Windbreaker. That's like been really cool. And then another one is called I think it's just called Kaiju 8 or something. Both really good.
Do you have to see the first 7 first? Or?
No. Nope. Nope. Just this one.
Cool.
And then I've also listened to a lot of audiobooks, as I always do.
Nice. Any good ones lately?
Honestly, I forgot the name of the one I'm listening to right now. even though I'm on book 4.
Oh, this reminds me, Libby. I have a Libby notification to claim a book right now that I should do.
The Path of Ascension.
Okay.
It's a literary RPG. It's kind of like the genre I listen to all the time.
Dope. I just borrowed Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett, so we'll see how that goes.
Nice. The Sandman guy?
Yes, Sandman guy.
Nice.
I want to do the Sandman next. There are audiobooks of it, even though it's a graphic novel. Mm-hmm. There's like a full cast audiobook, but it seems to only be on Audible, and that one's money. So
Audible's expensive.
Audible is expensive when Libby is right there.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a different Neil Gaiman. I just had finished listening to American Gods, which was really good. So I'm feeling some Neil Gaiman action right now.
Nice.
Good. I had read an incredible book recently by Haruki Murakami called Kafka on the Shore.
Yeah, Kafka.
That was dope.
Yeah, I really like Murakami.
Yeah, that was the first one of his I had read, and I'm gonna dive into some other stuff now, I think.
I have one Q84 if you want to physically read it.
Sure.
If not,
yeah.
I also have the audiobook file.
Oh, cool. I mean, either way, I'm down. Yeah. So yeah,
he's the Norwegian wood guy, right? That's one of his own.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have a physical Norwegian wood in my room that I'm going to dive into soon.
Oh, he does.
You know it.
Nice. Are you Norwegian?
No.
Oh.
No, but he's got wood.
Okay.
I could show you. I have the novel Norwegian wood in paperback.
Call it whatever you want, Ben.
Murakami would
I'll
love
check
this
it out later.
conversation.
It's a thick one. Yeah.
You would appreciate it.
Talks about a lot of weird sexual things.
Yes, he does. It gets
like out of nowhere.
Pretty crazy. There's like a couple scenes in Kafka on the Shore that are like, okay, that was.
You need to describe it that way.
Yeah, and not even sex, but some of the violence is like, well, that was the most disturbing thing I've ever read for sure.
Interesting.
Good times though.
I read. I don't think I've read any of his like actual works. Well, his like other novels, but he had a book called "What I Talk About When I Talk About Running" that I read.
That's him.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That was a good book.
That's cool. I haven't read that, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
One of his short stories and then part of another one were adapted into the movie Drive My Car from a few years ago.
Oh, that was like an adapted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't
know that either.
Yeah, that's from one of his short story collections. It's one of the short stories and then parts of another one from this, I think from the same collection of shorts.
Interesting.
That they adapted into. Yeah, that movie rocks.
Yeah.
So that's also, I don't know how loosely because I haven't read it, but also based on Murakami.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So yeah, I just watched The First Omen last night from March or April. It was released in theaters, but I haven't seen it. Yeah. It's on Hulu now. I just watched it. I thought it was awesome.
Nice.
I really liked it. It's the kind of horror that I respond to the best, which it's not jump scary at all. It's more about building of atmosphere. And a thing I've mentioned before when we've done horror is, for me, like motion and the way things like have, you know, their locomotion and their physicality is a lot of it for me too. I think in a lot of J horror, there's people walking towards the camera weirdly, and it's creepy.
I immediately thought of the
Ring chick.
The Ring, yeah.
The Ring,
girl.
yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about Kiyoshi Kurosawa. He has like a very famous scene in Pulse when there's like a ghost walking towards a person, and things chasing people can be scary, but I think something slowly walking towards someone and they're too scared to move is always more effective to me.
Yeah, definitely.
And that happens a lot in The First Omen, which I like more. It's way more indebted to better horror movies than the original Omen, which is kind of just schlocky, and a lot of it I thought was a little boring.
Oh, okay.
But this has more in common with like some J horror and The Shining, I would say, because a lot of it is you kind of just looking at the way that a character is looking at something in terror, which is more effective for me than just seeing a thing, even though both are happening.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
what about you, Noah? What have you been watching?
I actually watched kind of along the space theme too, Asteroid City last night for the first time.
Oh, nice. What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time. Definitely sort of like confused at the end of it. But I mean, I think that was kind of addressed like in the film,
Yeah.
his approach to things and
Well, you can't wake up if you don't go to sleep, right?
right. You can't wake up if you don't go to sleep.
Yeah. That movie is incredible.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Do we want to talk about Jason X?
Nah. Yeah, let's do it.
So
It's fucking Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
Jason, he's in space.
Wait.
That's a literal quote from the movie.
The Jason Voorhees?
Isn't that what she said? She's
I
like,
think so.
What's that?
It's a fucking
Jason fucking Voorhees.
Yeah. What is that? Yeah.
Jason Voorhees.
There was sometimes I do, instead of in the intro and movies that they haven't seen and really should have by now, I do like a different quote from the movie every now and then. And this one I was thinking movies that they haven't seen before and really should have been ready for their midterm by now.
Got it in.
Yeah. Because that was a quote that happens pretty early in the movie. And I was like, that would be the one I do for this movie.
That's a good one.
Yeah, you have like the 3 competing sex scenes happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I guess this movie knows where its bread's buttered. But
Yep.
It's only called Jason X, I assume, because the title, an extremely goofy movie, was already taken. But yeah, anyway. Should we do a 1-minute plot summary? Anyone feeling? I hadn't seen this movie before. Had either of you?
I thought
No, I
I
hadn't
did,
seen
but then I watched it and I was like, maybe I didn't see this one.
Wait a minute, he's in space.
Well, yeah, that's all I knew. Even now, I don't even remember how he got there.
Man's hubris.
Yeah. Go ahead. You do your 1-minute plot summary.
Any of us can do it, but mine can be pretty quick because last week we did Prometheus, which is a prequel to Alien, and in that it's a ripoff of the first Alien. So I'd probably say the same thing for this movie, which is that
Go for it.
it's a ripoff of the first Alien, except if instead of a xenomorph, what if Jason was here?
Yeah.
Nailed it.
That's pretty
That's
much
pretty
it.
much it. Yeah, so we enter the scene at the Camp Crystal Lake Research Facility. Literally, David Cronenberg, legendary Canadian director of body horror, especially in other thrilling films, plays some government spook that tells lady, you can't have frozen Jason. I need him for my government experiments. We're moving him to the Scranton facility. And she's like, that's a bad idea. This is Jason fucking Voorhees. And he's like, nope, I'm legendary director David Cronenberg. I'm taking him with me. And so he tries to do that, but then Jason kills everybody. Lady tricks him into the cryo chamber, but he machetes her through the door.
Through this like space grade steel.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're frozen for 450 years, like you do. Then field trip, archaeology professor and his students come to old Earth in the future, where Earth is now just brown and you can't really see it. I only watched it on a computer screen, so maybe it's better on film. So they're delving through this archaeological site, Camp Crystal Lake Research Facility. They find these 2 humanoids. Jason, despite being frozen, cuts off the stoner guy's arm. They bring him back on the ship. Jason gets alive again. There's a bunch of women. All of them look the same except the blonde lady. They kill the blonde lady first. Everyone looks the same for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's accurate.
And then besides the black guy, who's kind of a badass, the leader of the grunts, they keep calling them grunts, whatever. It's students, and that's their excuse to have like sexy co-eds, like there have to be in every Friday the 13th movie. Yep. There's also this professor. He wants to sell Jason. I guess that's the lady they revive, and they're like, oh, you get to have a good life now. And with Jason, he's like, I get to sell you. He's mine. It's like, what's the rules? You can't just sell people. Anyway.
That's a good point.
450 years. Maybe you can.
Yeah.
His boss guy that he consults with about this has heard of Jason Voorhees, and he's like, this guy will go for billions of space units. And you'll be king of Earth too, or whatever. Anyway, Jason kills pretty much everybody except for a couple people. There's an android that's like dollar store Mia Jovovich from Resident Evil. And she fights Jason and they kill Jason. But there's been actually well seeded stuff about the nanobots that can repair limbs that have fallen off. They actually did a good job setting that up. These nanobots repair Jason. They turn his face into the Mighty Ducks logo.
That's all I could think of.
Yeah. And he comes back, and now he's mostly metal, and he's got red eyes instead of goop eyes. And now the android can't fight him, so they just sort of run away. They get to a different space thing. Jason kind of Supermans through the air at them at the end, but then the black guy intercepts him. They land on Earth 2, I guess, in a different campsite lake.
Just his mask. Just the Mighty Ducks mask.
Yes.
That's all he needs.
Theoretically setting up for sequels, but this movie came out 22 years ago and there never were. So
That's probably good.
Yeah.
I don't think we need any more from that line.
So this happens because the previous Jason film, which is Jason Goes to Hell, maybe ends with the Freddy tease. There's a Freddy claw that comes out of the ground and pulls the mask under. But because of rights issues, they weren't ready to make Freddy versus Jason yet, which comes out a few years after Jason X.
Okay.
So they put out this Jason movie. I don't know if it's like a Sony Spider-Verse thing where they had to make a Jason movie to keep the rights, whoever had it at the time, but it feels like that.
That's what I read, happened, yeah.
That makes sense.
They needed to put something out to keep rights.
And I guess they're like, well, we don't want to mess with the Freddy versus Jason setup, so let's set this 450 years in the future.
Yeah, that works.
There's a great clip of the late, speaking of Canadian legends, Norm Macdonald, who was on some sort of YouTube awards show red carpet. And he keeps just like shitting on the entire enterprise by saying like, all the stars are here, and then naming some random like YouTuber that no one's ever heard of that sounds dumb. And he's like obviously just entertaining himself. And I was thinking that when the movie starts and the first name that comes up is Lexa Doig.
I don't know. I didn't know who any of these people
No,
were.
I've never. It's so rare that aside from, again, legendary Canadian director David Cronenberg, who's inexplicably in the first couple minutes of this movie.
Yep.
I guess because the movie's deeply Canadian. I don't know. It's very rare that there's not like a person in the movie that I've seen anywhere else in my life, but there was not in this movie.
I feel like there's
Fun
a couple
fact.
people that looked like other actors, but
There were a couple of actors that were in the Goosebumps show.
Oh, okay.
In that movie.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
oh, which do you remember which characters?
No.
Was it Ryan Gosling? He's in a Goosebumps show episode.
I have no idea. This is all I
Was
got
Ryan Gosling in
from
this
this
film?
random YouTube video.
Okay.
He played Jason.
Nice.
I think they were also Canadian.
The Goosebumps show, was.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of the Nickelodeon shows were Canadian, right? Are You Afraid of the Dark was Canadian? I know also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
it does. That's why none of them could say about correctly.
Yeah, and clearly they didn't go forward to do great things because after this movie.
That was all they were in.
Yeah,
They're all
so
really bad at acting.
this was not good.
I thought the scientist guy or the tech kid or whatever, I thought he looked like Matthew Perry.
Okay,
A
yeah,
little
You
bit.
see that?
Yeah.
yeah, I could definitely see that. The one that's like making out with the android and like holding her head till the end.
The one
Yeah.
that is totally using her as a sex robot.
For sure.
Like it's
She's down with it.
He didn't like nipples though, which I thought was interesting.
some people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had because that scene was opposite the scene of the nipple torture. So you have to be like, and some men don't like nipple stuff.
Should have picked up on that. Yeah.
It's a very deep film. These are all real things that happen and that we're describing.
Yes.
It's not just us being like, oh, he's definitely using that as a sex robot. There's a whole scene where she's topless and he's like giving a full critique of her breasts. And that's just a scene that happens in the movie. It's not connected to anything else.
Nope. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that they're just like,
Just throw it out
throw
there.
it in there.
Yeah, why not?
It's a bit of a hodgepodge. I mentioned to you, I think maybe just to Noah at the wedding. We went to a wedding the other day. It was fun.
Yeah.
It's good to see everybody. That every set in this movie looks like it's from a different production, a different made for Canadian TV
Yeah.
ripoff of Xenon or something.
Yep.
Where some of these sets look kind of like grungy, like the first Alien. Some of them are super brightly lit and look like a Disney Channel TV show. None of them match. None of the hallways look like they should go to any of these rooms. The doors are all different shapes in different parts of the ship. And it just seems like they were like calling around to whatever production was nearby. Hey, do you have any spare space looking sets?
Mhm.
I don't know. What were your favorite kills? Jason, he wakes up from his icy
There's a
slumber.
couple obvious ones.
It's nice when he shatters that lady's face.
Yeah, that's like
I wasn't expecting that one. That one got me.
Aside from that was the one lady who isn't brunette, and it was easy to tell that that's the blonde one, and we know her.
Yeah.
Now she's gone, and she dies first on the spaceship.
The
There's
other really
people-
cool one was the corkscrew one.
Yeah,
That's the other one I was
just like
thinking of.
spinning around
Slowly
slowly.
falling down. Yeah. That's the
Yes.
other one I was thinking of.
yeah, he's screwed. That's what the grunt reports back to the comms guy. Is like,
You know they came
he's
up
screwed.
with that based off of that. That
Yeah.
one line.
Yeah, they wrote the line first and worked
100%.
backwards from there.
100%.
I liked, I don't know. The VR thing was like interesting, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Those people were bad at VR.
I was
Then bad at reality when there's an obvious Jason situation in your
Yeah.
face. You shouldn't just stand there.
But it was like the token. Was he a stoner guy or just like
Yeah.
stupid? or-
Asriel, I want to say his
I don't
name was
remember.
for some reason.
I don't know what anybody's name was
Yeah.
besides Jason.
There was main
Jason
lady,
fucking Voorhees,
Yeah, the main lady.
There was
scientist lady. Yeah,
I can't even say like the horny one. Usually in a slasher movie, there's one like horny lady who dies first, but they're all the horny lady in this one.
Yeah, there's multiple. In this
Aside
one.
from Lexa Doig, the main character.
and dudes. As soon as they were like, we found someone and a chick, the other one goes, really? Is she hot?
Yeah, and it's like, what do you guys do?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Is this your job? Because you're not taking it very seriously.
Yeah.
and you're not very good at it.
You're bad at it. You're not taking it seriously. You just like found a woman who's been in cryo sleep for 400 years, and she's like, is she hot though?
Because if not, we're gonna freeze her again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it back under. She's not hot, boys. Like, okay.
I like the random like cowboy hat too for seemingly
Yeah.
no reason.
He's the driver, so he wears a
Oh,
cowboy
yeah, yeah,
hat,
yeah.
I guess.
He's
all
he's
drivers
fun.
do.
Don't say yeah like that explains it. Don't let them off the
Well,
hook.
450 years in the future, obviously, all drivers
Yeah.
wear cowboy hats.
Gotta wear a
Yeah.
cowboy hat.
Everyone would have a normal 2002 American accent 450 years in the future. Certainly in 2002, we sounded exactly like people sounded in 1550.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no difference. They don't even live on the same planet anymore.
I do love to in like any movie that's like set in space, whenever they get like super like technical or scientific, I love to hear like the words and like the stuff that they throw in.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning they were like, she's 25% cryostasis or something like that. I don't know.
Which I'm pretty sure would mean she would just be dead.
That's what you'd think.
Because I think you need 100%.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
But, you
My
know,
bad.
what
It's
do
a
I know?
2001 movie. I said it's 2002 before. My bad.
You're forgiven.
Thank you.
I think that I would have. See, like the movie was funny enough, but I feel like they did try a little too hard for it to just be a funny slasher movie. Like,
Yeah,
it seems
Jason's
like
the only person taking anything seriously.
yeah,
It's kind of refreshing when we're just with Jason because you're like, at least he's not going to make a shitty joke.
yeah. It
You know
keeps it
his
nice and
direction.
quiet.
You know what he's
Nice and
trying to do.
quiet.
Yeah, like they tried a little too hard to make it like a goodish sci-fi kind of movie
Mhm.
instead of just going full on the like ridiculous slasher
Yep.
space
Mhm.
movie.
I like that they don't give Jason any motivation. I mean, it is what the 10th installment or whatever. I keep saying that. Let me double check.
It is.
It is, yeah.
It's the 10th. Yeah.
Just assuming since it's X.
Mhm.
So they're way past the point where he's even like a living human at this point. But
Well, he has regenerative cells.
yeah,
So-
he's been melted by goo in New York at this point. He's been blown up a bunch of times.
He's been through it all.
immolated. It just doesn't matter.
Frozen.
Mhm.
It's Jason, and he just wants to kill people.
Yeah.
Does he even like it? No idea. It's all he wants to do, though.
One of my favorite scenes is when they like triggered this simulation and
That
did
part
a
is-
throwback to the
Actually funny.
one of the older movies. Yeah.
That's probably my favorite part of the entire.
They're like, how do we get him? Okay. 2 hot chicks,
Yeah.
beer, weed, and sex. That'll get him. And then he just starts beating them
Yes.
with
That
each
was-
other.
That was in the sleeping bags.
Yes, that was the
That
the
sh-
funniest part. Where
That
they
should have been
cut
the
to
entire
it.
movie. Was like that tone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where it cuts back and he's with slamming one in a sleeping bag into the other one in a sleeping bag.
And then into the tree.
Yeah.
A callback to part 3. I think he kills someone in a sleeping bag by slamming them into a tree.
Oh, okay.
Friday the 13th part 3.
Which part, but I know it does. It was a throwback.
I think 3's when he gets the hockey mask, maybe. I don't know.
I like visually how he looks in this movie. I thought it was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, when he comes back, like
Yeah,
Terminator
Jason
style.
V2.
Yeah. That does look sick.
V2.
Yeah, that does look sick.
He's I guess just mostly metal at that point because the bullets are just sort of bouncing off him.
Although we don't even know what he really was to begin with.
No, he was just sort of like an unkillable, like Deadpool or Wolverine style guy. Not that he ever seems to be in pain.
No, and
Just
even,
that, like, if you blow his limbs off, he's like, "Oh man, I'm less stable now."
Yeah.
Like,
Topples over.
But in his head, he's like, "Oh, god damn it, not again."
Fuck.
Should say I didn't know any of the people in this movie from anything else, but Kane Hodder is the most associated with playing Jason, at least, and he plays Jason in this one too. That's a big guy.
Yeah,
He's big.
Yeah. He's a big dude. Gotta be a big dude.
Gotta be a big dude. If you go to like any convention and it's like, oh, the Jason actor's here, it's probably Kane Hodder. Who's the Jason in this one?
Do you know like how
he
many
wasn't
films he did?
the original Jason, right? Wasn't he?
No, because there's
later
I mean,
on
it's
Jason?
like a goopy little boy in the first one.
Oh, really? Yeah, that makes sense.
Just a goopy little boy.
He's just a goop kid.
Goop kid's afraid to leave his
That's exactly
goop.
what I
Goop
was
kid's afraid to leave his goop.
Scooping around.
Okay, there we go.
Goober.
What a goober.
So yeah, hockey masks not till part 3. The superhuman strength and regenerative powers and like the magic and vulnerability really doesn't come in until part 6. Jason Lives. I think part 6 is where the protagonist is a Carrie-like girl with telekinesis powers that fights Jason.
Oh, that sounds kind of interesting.
Apparently that one is actually interesting. I don't know if that's part 6, but I know it's a later sequel
Oh, okay.
where there's a character who is legally distinct from Stephen King's Carrie, but pretty much is Carrie, and she fights Jason.
Interesting.
So yeah,
Hear him.
Kane Hodder has 4 appearances, starting with 7, 8, Jason Goes to Hell, and then Jason X.
Okay.
So this was his last one. Damn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pour one out for the legend.
Yeah.
That's all the research I really want
Fun
to do for
fact.
Jason X.
Good to
Yeah,
know.
there's not too much else going on. There's a lot of killing.
There's a lot of killing. So we said the lady gets her face frozen and then smashed.
Yep,
It's a pretty good one. The guy gets screwed. Then the lady's like,
literally.
he got screwed. Or he's screwed. Yeah, it's simpler. It's cleaner. He's screwed.
Perfect.
It's like sometimes it's so many lame jokes, but some of the, I think I was in a good headspace just to be like, oh, this is stupid. They know it's stupid. We know it's stupid. If you try to criticize it, someone would be like, it's Jason in space. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
It's like you can't take it too seriously.
Yeah. But when the badass main grunt guy gets stabbed and he's like, it's going to take more than one little poke to take down an old dog like me. And then he gets immediately stabbed again. And he goes, that should do it.
There's a few like ones of those liners.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, when Janessa, it's the future, so her name's Janessa, not Vanessa, is about to get sucked through the grate, and she goes, this sucks on so many levels, and then dies.
It's pretty good too.
I also noticed that when that dude, like, he had to go repair part of the ship or whatever,
Yeah.
it literally was like 3 seconds from when he said he was going to when he chimed in with a full spacesuit on. It was like, all right, I'm heading out now. And it like, there was no like it didn't make like a time cut or anything. It was literally like, okay, I'm going. And then they were like, are you good? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. And then it cut to him fully in a spacesuit ready to go.
He was good. He was ready to go.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is clever or whatever. I think the movie invites you to not pay super close attention. So like that guy's on the outside of the ship. But then when Jason's like Supermaning over to them and they can see him through the window, like, this is so stupid. And they're just like, you gotta be kidding me. Jason's flying through space right at us.
What the hell, man?
And he just very shittily flies through and then
Yeah.
tackles him.
Yep, I had forgotten that guy comes through. Yeah, it's like, I guess they're in space, but the animation is so weightless that you just kind of like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like an animation plugin that you'd have in like iMovie. It's so
There's no easing or anything. It's just one speed.
right, yeah. He just grabs him and they just keep going.
Yeah, now that I think about it, there's no like collision or anything. It was literally just like one steady shoop.
Yeah, just whoop, just picks him up, gets on his back, rides him through the atmosphere, re-entry.
And somehow his mask survived falling through
Yeah,
the atmosphere and didn't burn up. But the rest of the metal on him did,
yeah.
which was made of the same material.
I almost wonder if it's worth talking about, like, how would we punch up these movies and make them better? But one thing that I have to give credit for, last week we did Prometheus. I mentioned there's a YouTube channel that I like a lot called Red Letter Media that has a very popular, from the time 2012 contemporaneous review of Prometheus, where they point out a lot of issues, but ultimately enjoyed the movie. About this one, they were like, oh, it should have been that anytime he kills someone, they just put them in the nanobot chamber and they keep coming back, and he just keeps getting mad because no one can stay dead.
Oh, that would be funny. That would have been
hilarious.
Yeah, because he like hacks people apart, and it's like, well, just put them in the nanobots.
funny. Yeah.
Or even like,
No one should have been able to die. They had magic, like, body repairing nanobot technology.
Yeah, that's a good point.
or like keep sending more androids at him that like don't bleed or actually die, and then he could have been really pissed off about it. Like, what is wrong with these people? Because he has no idea what androids are.
Yeah. And it wouldn't have been that much more expensive to just hire more brunette ladies to be, I'm also a robot, whatever.
Just use the same one.
Oh, yeah. Let's give her
Over and over again.
A different wig or something.
I guess the dudes were pretty distinct because they were either like bald or wearing a cowboy hat, or the stoner guy.
Yeah.
Or black.
Yeah. Yep. And then there was Crutch. Yeah. That was his name. He was like the
or the
pilot?
and the professor. Yeah, the pilot.
Yeah, pilot, professor, stoner guy.
Yeah. The science, the experimenting guy.
Oh yeah, there's that guy too.
The one who dies right after being shown the pilot's head.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he just goes, "Oh no, oh man, this
Wait,
is bad.
the one that was like,
I got company here, guys."
during the Microsoft incident, we had to beat each other with our severed limbs or something like.
Yeah,
I remember
which
that.
I didn't understand, but
I think it's just them being like, "What's a funny thing that they can refer to?" And it's the Microsoft incident.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the what is it in Dune? The Butlerian jihad or whatever, where the humans turned against computers and killed all of them. Yeah. I think it's the same thing, but they just call it the Microsoft incident.
That's funny.
Is it
hilarious?
Sure.
We didn't mention at one point they crash into a space station and kill, according to the film's writer, 20,000 people. Way more than Jason ever killed.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's a good point.
Yeah, they did worse.
Yeah.
At that point in time, 10 times as many people as Jason's killed. Because they say he killed 200 people back in like the 20th century or whatever.
What does it now? Do those kills get attributed to Jason because he was like there? You know,
I would say no.
Yeah,
maybe
I would mostly blame the professor.
Yeah.
Also, there has to be some sort of recourse, like from the bridge that they were on. That wasn't the actual bridge where you can control the ship, but they just had another. Oh, what's another set we can borrow from a cheap CBC production that we can have a lot of characters in one room? It's like, well, we have a knockoff of the bridge from Star Trek, so let's put them all in that room.
Perfect. The space station they crashed into, it didn't look like a space station.
No, it was sort of just a circle.
Yeah.
But the guy who wrote it says there's about 20,000 people on that do all die.
Interesting. Okay.
He's specifically like, yep, men, women, and children.
Yeah.
They're dead.
That's probably like a trivia, like which Jason had the most deaths.
Oh, yeah.
Jason 10.
Jason, by far. Sorry. Yeah, make it cool.
Yeah.
By far, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just in the middle where they're like, we should say the plot of the movie, the guy discovers because he talks to his boss, and he's excited when he wakes his boss up, the guy being the professor who's sort of shady and sort of having sex with all of his students.
Yeah,
we know he's not a good guy.
That's to note. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. And he tells his boss, oh, yeah, we got this lady. We just unfroze her. She's like 450 years old. And the guy's like, we have like 200-year-old unfrozen people walking around. No one's going to care. He's like, but she'll be like the oldest person on earth too. And he's like, yeah, who gives a shit? Like 300 years old, 400 years old, no one cares. And he's like, well, we found this other guy. It's like
Well, that was a little old for him. He's used to students.
Yeah, for real. We found this other guy. It's like Voorhees. And the boss is immediately like, wait, Jason Voorhees? He's worth millions of monies, whatever their currency is at the time. So the whole plot is he's just trying to get to somewhere where he could sell Jason. But then pretty quickly, Jason wakes up and starts killing people. He doesn't want anyone to kill Jason for a bit. But then I guess eventually he's just like, we just got to get off the ship.
Yeah.
I was very upset that they cut away from his death.
I know.
Like, why have
Weird.
a like slasher movie and then cut away from like the death of like someone who like everyone would
the main
has a reason
annoying
to
guy.
hate?
Yeah.
Yes.
Would have liked to see.
The essentially doing like Paul Reiser character in Aliens.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a weird
There
choice.
were a couple of deaths I think that they cut away from.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why? That's the whole reason why you make these movies.
And
That's
it's
all
not-
Jason does is slash.
It's not like some of the grunt deaths when they're in the cargo hold with him
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, you don't see this person die, but you see another character discover their body and it's a jump scare
He's
because
just like,
one of them like swings out on a chain or something. We just never see that guy's body even,
No.
which is weird
Maybe
because
he
that was like
survives.
the main room they were in.
yeah.
When Jason jumped through the glass in the back of the room, I was like, where's he coming from? How is there was a glass panel that leads to a behind this room? What are you
They had
talking
no
about?
idea that he was gonna
You
be
know,
there.
because it's a space station.
Yeah, it's space.
Yeah, it comes right after there's like a knocking sound out the door, and then Lexa Doig's like, that's not Jason. He's not over there.
Yeah, she knew.
And the professor's like, how do you know? And then he's like, here's how. And Jason, jumps through the window.
Yeah.
Surprise, motherfuckers.
But to your point, it's weird. Not only is it weird that we don't see like the main shitty guy that everyone wants to kill die, but there's also a setup where Jason like finds his old machete and he has the new machete and he's like looking at both of them and you're like, oh, he's going to do like a bit with like both of them or he's going to test both of them on this guy or something and then be like, oh, this one's, sharper. I'm going to keep this one.
Yeah.
You don't see it. So his first kill in the movie with his classic machete, you just don't see, I guess.
So many
It's a
missed
weird
opportunities.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why was that decision
Yeah,
made?
it's weird.
If they just
I don't know.
I don't think they planned much for this. They
No,
just
I
kind
don't
of
think so.
threw shit
They
together.
showed up on the day and were like, here's the rooms that we have today. We lost the other ones. So-
Tomorrow, the escape room down the street said we can borrow their space room.
That's pretty much what it was. There's no I noticed too, like no cohesion in the outfits.
Nope.
Some people had like sweaters. Some people had like BDSM
Furry
outfits.
sweaters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people are BDS. Some people are dressed like the real world sort of like canvas sacks of the Matrix
Yeah.
when they're on like the actual ship and they just have like canvas sacks on. Some people are dressed like characters in Xenon, like what people in late 90s or early thousands thought was both kind of futuristic, but also you could wear this on TRL.
Yeah, relevant at the time. One of the guys had a shirt on that looked like a Dan Flasher shirt. The Android guy.
It's because the patterns are so complicated.
They were super complicated patterns. I'll give them that.
It's worth it.
It was totally worth it.
I don't want to watch. I think you should leave. Anyway, I mean, I had fun with this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it.
We've covered the entire plot. The android at one point gets upgraded. We don't see what that means. The only
Covered
upgrade
more
we
plot
see,
than there was.
Yeah.
we actually did. She's when she fights pre-rebuilt Jason, she's all of a sudden like shiny latex. And she does. I mean, I said before, Dollar Store Mia Jovovich from Resident Evil. She just looks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems pretty explicit.
I was thinking Matrix.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sure. And then she just fights him with her cartwheels and kicks and blows him apart. But then he gets nanobotted back together. And then she can't fight him. So then she's just ahead.
Oh, yeah.
They're very, very low budget, like movie you made with your friends in the backyard style.
Yeah.
A lot of times the guy's just holding her head under his arm and the rest of her body is clearly just, they framed the shot so you can't see it.
Yeah.
And like they had her like plugged into a computer or something and she was fine. And then for some reason, like only when they got onto like the safe ship at the end, he was like, "Oh, you're okay?"
Yeah.
It's like you were just using her to do something a little while ago.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, yeah, you know, if you think you're about to die, you gotta.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, it's fine. Your mouth still works. That's all I need."
I don't need your brain.
It's not a good movie.
No.
It was a movie.
It was a movie.
It was a movie. The extent to which it is a parody of what these movies kind of are, but it either goes too far in not taking itself seriously, but not far enough in actually committing to be a comedy.
They should have committed in one direction.
Yeah.
And like fully went with it.
It's hard to do. I mean, you know, like the Scream movies are one of the few that are legitimately funny, but also effective slasher movies. It's really hard to do both.
That's a hard line to walk.
Yeah. So it probably should have just been completely goofy,
I think so.
because the fact that it's like 80% goofy just means that nothing feels like it matters and you don't care what happens to any of these people.
Yeah.
I guess Lexa Doig is fine at the end, but like, and that's not the character's name. This is a human being named
I don't
Lexa
remember the
Doig.
name of the character.
Doesn't matter.
This is the main character.
Lexa Doig.
Yeah.
We all watched this movie within the last couple days. I don't know what the main character's name either.
I don't either. I literally saw it right before it came.
Yeah. It's been like hours since he's seen it.
Yeah.
I watched it last night and I don't remember. I just remember Jason.
Yeah.
So I guess she's fine at the end, but is displaced 450 years in time
Yeah, it's going to be tough to...
on a planet, and I guess has to go live on a planet that she wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I guess is kind of cool.
At least...
Also
And
a
traumatizing.
Also an alien ripoff because Ripley keeps getting frozen and waking up later.
Yeah.
It's all an alien ripoff.
Why? I wonder why, like, Space 2 was like that, just what was hot in 2001? Space stuff?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I part of it, I think we said, part of it is they're spinning their wheels until they can do the Freddy versus Jason. So they're like, let's set it way in the future. It's in the future, so it has to be space.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's actually true, but
Nobody
that sounds
cares about
right.
campgrounds. Space is in.
Yeah.
You know, there was some like hot shot that was just like space. Space is in right now. We gotta do space.
Yeah.
We're sending Jason, drum roll, to space.
Jason in space.
Space and Voorhees.
Space and
Space and
Voorhees.
Voorhees.
That's all I got. That's the best I can come up with.
Space and Voorhees. That's
Space
pretty
and
good.
Vortex. That's not.
Did you guys see Freddy versus Jason?
Yeah.
No, I never seen it.
You didn't see it?
I saw it when it came out.
These are the two Jason
It was
movies I've
fine.
seen. First one
It's
in
better
this.
than
in
this
that.
movie.
I
thought.
feel like they did a way better job of like leaning into like the parody of it
Yeah.
for that movie.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
but it was still like, I feel like it was pretty, I don't know if I'd say it's like,
No, it was
great.
but it was a pretty good balance. It
they,
also
yeah,
had
they did it well.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
did
yeah.
like, I feel like how they tried to do for this.
That's
but-
what I'm
but
saying. Yeah, that's what I feel like the tone that they should have done for this movie. I actually like that movie a lot. That's one of my favorite horror movies. I probably did too, actually. I probably did too.
Yeah.
Literally, depending on which page you click on Wikipedia, it lists Jason X either as a 2001 or a 2002 movie. I think it's really funny that even Wikipedia doesn't care.
Nice.
Yeah. Wikipedia's like, does it matter?
Bruh. It's 2000s.
It's
early
whatever.
2000s.
Freddy vs. Jason just the next year.
Really?
In 2003.
It seemed like the quality was like way better in that film. Maybe
It
not. I don't
was.
know. Yeah.
There's clearly a
Possible.
budget difference.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know what the budget was, but
It's a whole different team that works on writing and directing that one. So I don't know. By the way, this movie was directed by James Isaac or Jim Isaac. Again, it changes depending on which Wikipedia page you're
first
on.
names.
And written by Todd Farmer. Anyway.
They didn't go on to do big things.
No. No. Well, James Isaac mostly was a special effects guy. He's worked on a ton of stuff that is even stuff we've covered before, like Gremlins.
Oh, okay.
He did special effects on Return of the Jedi.
Hmm.
He's, Existence. Maybe that's the connection.
This is just like a summer side job.
So this guy
Just
does special effects in 1999 for Existence, which is a Cronenberg movie.
Oh,
And then the
okay.
next movie he directs, Jason X, maybe he's like, Dave, come be in the first couple minutes and get a javelin through your torso by Jason.
He's like, hell yeah.
Anyway, that again, I said earlier I don't want to do any more research into Jason X. But that was at least fun. Maybe that's why David Cronenberg's in this movie.
Yeah.
It was like a little hard to find the movie.
Yeah.
I think it's because searching for Jason X, like, it's just not a very like Google searchable term.
I don't normally mind. Sorry, I don't normally mind having to rent stuff if it's not on like a service I already have. But this one hurt. So I'm gonna have like on my card statement that I did this. It's gonna know.
I would have given it to you.
The fine. Oh, I should have. Yeah. The fine people at Chase are gonna be like, "Hey, are you okay?
Did someone steal your credit card?
Someone steal your credit card and
Hey,
rent."
we've detected
Jason
fraud
X. Yeah.
or robbery.
You could probably deny this charge and get your whatever $5 back.
Yeah. I will say, and I feel like we're getting into wrap up territory, I had a fun time. This movie's very dumb. It knows you're there for a dumb time too, and it tries to give you a dumb time. I just wish it was a little more dumb, I think.
Oh yeah,
I think
I should have went full dumb.
a little more dumb would have gone a long way. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's get into ratings on a scale of 0.5 to 5 on any scale you're choosing. I mean, we've been talking for 54 minutes about that. I think that's pretty good for Jason X.
Yeah, we did it.
About
And
as long
it's
as the movie.
it's due
Yeah, because I looked down,
do
I was like,
justice.
I don't feel like I normally hit ratings within an hour, but on this one, it's almost an hour. I think
Yeah.
that's a credit to
That's
us.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a scale of 0.5 to 5, on any scale you're choosing, what would you give James Isaac's 2001 or 2, depending on which Wikipedia page you ask? Classic? Jason X.
I'd give it 1 knockoff Mighty Ducks Jason Voorhees mask out of 5.
Nice.
That's probably fair.
God, every time I do these, I forget that this is part of it, where you have to come up with a rating system. I always get to the end and go, "Oh shit, I didn't fucking think of something."
And like I said last week on Prometheus, anytime we do a space one, it's like, stars would be good on this one, but we can't.
Oh, we
do stars.
can't do star. It has to be something other than stars.
Yeah.
I'll do one. I'll do one person in a sleeping bag getting beaten or thrown against a tree out of 5, I guess.
Yeah. I'll go 2.5. I had a fun time. That's all. That's all I want
nothing wrong with that.
sometimes.
That's why I gave it 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was for the fun.
Yeah. One for the
Yeah, I
fun.
guess the lowest is 0.5, so you could have gone lower.
Yeah.
2.5 inexplicable director cameos out of 5.
There you go.
That's a good one.
Yeah. God.
We got through it.
We got through it. The question this month that's going to string all these together, I feel like you guys will have a good answer for this one. No pressure. We decided last week that what is your favorite misunderstood movie? A movie that you love that other people hate, or that other people are like, that is a bizarre, how can you even like that? And it's like one of your comfort watches.
Freddy Got Fingered.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I
a good
figured
one.
you'd have one ready to go.
I've got a
One in
few.
the chamber.
One in the chamber.
Yeah.
That Grandma's Boy, I feel like
Grandma's
got
Boy is
4
good, too.
ratings, but it was
No, get in there. He's getting all the good ones.
I know, right? I was I was going to say Kung Pao, but I feel like everyone that I talk to really likes Kung Pao, but I don't think that's
'cause
like
that's why we're
I
all
know.
friends.
It's a
I know,
bubble.
I know.
It's your bubble.
that's what I haven't talked about it with like normal people.
You never brought it up as like an icebreaker at work.
No, that doesn't come up. But yeah, I'd say Kung Pao. I love that movie.
That's a good
I
one.
don't care how dumb it is.
I didn't have like a great one last week, but I mentioned House, the
Japanese movie.
the Japanese horror movie we
that's a good one.
talked about. A movie that I love that people don't seem to care that much about is Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola.
I just watched that like 2 days ago,
Oh, that movie fucking
all the way
rocks.
through for the first time.
I like when those vampires are trying to trying to eat Keanu in a sexy way.
Oh yeah.
Spoilers, but I'm in.
It's pretty early.
It's
I'm just kidding.
pretty
And then there's all of the
Keanu's in it?
Keanu's in
yeah.
it.
Oh, then I'm in.
And he's saying stuff like, "Those wolves are bad." And his accent's terrible.
his accent's so bad.
God,
it's
they
really
tried
bad.
to suck me dry. You're like, God, get out of here, Keanu.
God blimey, they tried to suck me dry.
God blimey. These ladies keep trying to suck me dry.
My wee.
Winona Ryder's there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well done.
I'm always happy to fill time talking about movies that are better than the movie we were supposed to talk about.
Yeah,
Sure.
especially when there's not much substance.
There's not a lot going on under the surface in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Just sexy teens on a space adventure.
It's horny, sexy teens.
Yep. Which, I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah, true.
There weren't not enough chaperones for these sexy teens.
No.
No, clearly not.
A better movie, speaking of which, let's just do that. I feel like most of the movies we do this month are actually going to be good. But since if you made it this far, watch Prince of Darkness. It's also about a group of students that follow a professor to a place. It's on a much lower budget, so instead of a spaceship, it's a community center / church in LA. It's directed by John Carpenter. It's after the thing bombed, so he doesn't get a lot of money. So it's very little production value. Well, not value. There's very little production cost, but the value he gets out of it is ridiculous. It has some of the best horror imagery ever created just through people doing acting and practical effects on a low budget. It's dope.
Prince of Darkness?
Yes. It's like this is Alien, but what if Jason was there instead of the alien? Prince of Darkness is what if you got a bunch of students and they're investigating this thing, but the thing is, what if Satan was in the basement of a church and instead of a guy that you're like, that's Satan, it's a big tube of green goo.
Oh, okay.
So there's a big tube of green goo in the basement of this church / community center. Also, there's a bunch of hobos that go crazy, led by Alice Cooper, that starts stalking around the outside of the building.
Interesting. Okay.
Wait, so Satan is Zordon.
That's the image that I had in my mind when you said it.
Interesting.
Tube of goo.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big green tube of goo.
Nice.
And it is Satan.
Does it have a face?
No, it's goo.
Straight up goo.
It's straight up goo. The goo gets in you, and it's not great.
Okay.
Yeah, usually that's not the desired outcome.
Yeah, you don't want to get the goo in you.
I think that brings us to the end. Thanks for being on this episode, Cory and Noah.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And check out our stuff on Linktree, linktr.ee/late to the movies. And don't forget to study for your midterms. It was going to be 2.5 midterm exams out of 5. I just remembered.
Oh, there it is.
Well, it's still in there.
Yeah.
She's really going after that dude's nips.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Poor fella.
Yeah. All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.